Hello.
All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to week one. Are you guys excited?
Yeah.
What? Yeah. So we moved on, and now we're on to the next 6 weeks together of cost controls. Isn't cost controls fun? You guys excited about this? Yeah. Cost controls is great. Oh, I'm so glad. So glad you guys think so. So, how many people are nervous about math? How many people are like,
I graduated
bit.
school like 20 years ago. Yes, I'm definitely nervous about math.
That's okay. But remember, what I like to say, which I totally stole from Chef Luke, was this isn't a math class. Think of it as your money class. This is how you're going to make money, right? And for those who don't remember, I am Chef Rachel. I get to be teaching you this awesome class. And we also have Chef Gregory here with us.
Yes, ma'am.
We're both going to be here for you guys to get you through this journey. And for those who don't remember, I come from Massachusetts and lived all over, went to culinary school, I'm in class 2, just like you guys. I'm still getting my master's. It's my last 10 weeks of master's, so I'm right there with you with school. We'll get through school together. And then I've been living in Colorado for 15 years, and I've done everything from pastry chef, baker, catering chef, line cook, event planner, and then ended up being general manager, executive chef at a B&B that had a event center. And then we have awesome Chef Gregory, who will say a little bit about himself so you guys get a little refresher too.
All right. Well, I liked how Chef Rachel worded it, so I'll do it the same. I come from Dover, Delaware. I worked for the Hyatt Hotels and Resorts. I worked for their corporate task force for 10 years. What I did was I lived and went around the country and opened and renovated hotels and their restaurants. From there, I worked for Lowe's Hotels and Resorts, doing the same thing for a couple of years. A quick stint with Wolfgang Puck. Wasn't as glamorous as I expected. And then my last role, I was the executive chef for Bank of America, running the food services for their corporate campuses. So I come from a big corporate background. And I look forward to...
Oh, sorry, go ahead, Chef.
Oh, I'm sorry. I look forward to working with everybody, and we will make math as easy as possible.
I did not realize you actually did a stint with Wolfgang Puck.
I did.
Yeah. How was that?
It wasn't as glamorous as you would have expected. It was very different. I worked in Boston, and I ran the Museum of Science, the Art Museum of Boston, and the Children's Museum of Boston also. So I ran like 3 museums, and I worked for Wolfgang Puck Catering, which is like his like kind of larger scale eatery, and it was just very unique. So
nice. Yeah, I did not realize that. That's cool. Yeah, that is pretty cool. So for the next 6 weeks, guys, we're going to be talking about food costs and the way that you can control it so you can make money for your business, right? How many people are Kitchen Nightmare fans? How many people have seen Kitchen Nightmares? Raise of hands. 1 or 2 episodes, Gordon Ramsay. You notice how he walks in, and I haven't seen the show much, but there was one that always got me, which was he walks in and he sees all these giant portions. All of like these people have like, obviously they're losing money, and they have these giant portions to the point where every single person at that restaurant was taking out a doggy bag because they did not control their food costs. They were wondering why they were losing money. It's because they were, instead of feeding one person, they were feeding like 4 people with that one meal. So this is how this class is going to help, because you're going to be able to control these costs. These costs are important because it's going to help you like make a profit, run your business the way that you need to. One of my favorite stories from my personal experience is I made black moons. How many people know what black moons are? Black moons are also called moon pies. Have you guys heard of moon pies?
Yes.
Sorry. Yeah, the moon pies. It's the cake with
the chocolate. The chocolate and the vanilla cone.
Yeah, they're huge on the East Coast, but they're not so much here. But I made them for a restaurant. And I went to the owner and was like, hey, I was thinking about making these. What do you think? How much did you want to charge for them? And he went, I don't know, like $5. And that's what his answer was. He was like, I don't know, $5. And that's where you run into issues because he didn't look at any of the factors. He didn't know what I put in it. He had no idea of anything that was in that dish. And he decided to just say $5. So we are going to teach you how not to do that. Right, Chef?
Yes. Yes, ma'am.
All right. So because no matter what, if you're an owner, if you're a chef, manager, you need to understand all of these aspects because it's going to help you make money. And you can take everything that you're learning here and you're going to be able to apply it anywhere you go now. You have that ability. So I wanted to make certain that we really go over the main page. So I'm going to pull up my screen for you guys with the course on it because I really want to make sure that you guys understand all where everything is. So, you guys see my screen okay? Everybody good?
Yeah.
Yes? Okay, perfect. So,
Yes.
as you can see, we have all of this great stuff here, right? Week 1, I had that fun little video. How many people watched the video? Yay! That's right, Austin, Paul, right. And then you have all of these great resources right here that I really want to make sure that you guys see them and you use them. They are going to be important. They're essential to help you do your assignments and your discussions and everything in this class. So be certain to look at all of these awesome things right here. They have videos for you. We have your lessons, knowledge checks, all right here, and they are here to help you, okay? We also have our discussion. I already saw some of you guys did your discussion, which is fantastic. And then we also have the live sessions are always here. We're going to have bonus live sessions. And then your assignment is also going to be right here. And then if we go over to this part right here, you guys are wondering, you need extra help with math or anything like that, we have the contact for tutoring right here for you guys. So if you need help with like the math or that type of thing, we can help you here. There's tutoring right there. Francie is fantastic, right? So do you guys have any? Oh, yes, Chef.
Timothy has a question. Rachel.
Yes.
Yeah, Chef, I was just wondering with those bonus live sessions, are those graded or will there be damn it, my mind just blanked. Will they be posted later?
So the bonus sessions, Chef Jonathan and I are going to run a bonus session. So this Tuesday will be everything we cover in today's class. So if you have math questions or if you have questions on the quizzes, you can, it's like a question and answer session. We'll do a quick review of everything that was expected on the quiz. And then if you have specific questions, you could just ask us. So it's completely voluntary. It won't count as attendance, but if you have extra math questions on anything during the next 6 weeks, you can join us and we'll happily answer it for you. Does that answer your question?
Absolutely. Thank you.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, and then I can even pull up for you guys right now my little
While Chef's pulling that up, Erica, you had a question?
Yeah, I had a question.
Okay.
By bringing it back, going to the beginning, what she was saying, with the owner didn't ask her what she put in her recipe that for the moon pies. I was just wondering how much money did she lose out on that product that she was charging $5 for?
That is a fabulous question. And, you know, they ended up not even going to the being sold because all of the staff ended up eating all of it.
Oh, wow.
So that in itself is one of the reasons why it's so important to do your food costs too, right? Because you want to know where all of your product is going. You want to make certain that you ordered enough food and that you made sure that you're making a revenue. And if you don't realize that your staff is eating all of your products and your profit right there, that turns into a problem. And that was a big problem at that establishment, is that we ran into the issue of people constantly just eating the desserts I made, which can be really, really bad, especially for that business, because it was a small business. And, you know, remember, this industry is an industry of counting pennies, right? We have to count our pennies everywhere we go. So it's so important to make certain that you are watching every single penny. Think about for salt and pepper. You guys, you don't normally think about that every single day, right? Salt and pepper, just a little bit, but a little bit times, you know, 1,000 plates, those pennies add up. That's a cost. You want to make certain that you are covered for those type of things, right? I know some, and I mean, some places, their whole, you know, executive chefs, such as I believe Chef Gregory, like your whole bonus was based off of watching your profit loss sheet and your costs, correct?
Yep. So my bonus, I was eligible for 20% of my yearly salary for a bonus. It's obviously a large amount of money. So I was also eligible for it per quarter, which makes it even more money. However, 5% of it per quarter was for food cost, and 5% of it was for labor costs. You do it for a quarter, it's 20% for the quarter. So if I met my food cost every quarter for the entire year, I would get 5% of my salary per quarter, 20% for the entire year, just for watching a P&L statement, having accurate ordering, having little to no waste, and just following my food costs. I was personally eligible, and I got 20% of my salary just off of meeting numbers on a P&L. And just reading a piece of paper and knowing like what controlled it, what was going in, what was going out, I got a 20% extra every single year. So it definitely is very, very, very important.
Yeah, that's a lot too, right?
Paul, you have a question?
Yeah, the extra live session, is there points added to your score for attending that? Or is it just if you need help?
Yep.
No, it's
yes,
just
exactly.
if you need help. Yeah.
Yep. It's completely voluntary. You don't have to attend. If you would like to, or if you need extra help, please absolutely do and ask your questions to us. But there's absolutely no requirement anybody has to do it. No.
And then, if you guys see my slide, right here for week 1, this is everything we're doing this week, right? You're going to do your lessons, your knowledge check. I want you guys to go through them. You have your discussion, which is your first initial post. It's going to be due on Saturday at 11:59 p.m. As you guys saw, you know, we want to see what your recipe, like one of your favorite recipes, have a picture of it, that kind of thing on there. Then you're going to have your 2 peer responses. That has to be more than, hey, that's nice, right? You want to add feedback to it. Your 2 peer responses are going to be due on Tuesday at 11:59 p.m. Central Standard Time. And then we have our assignment. The assignment's going to be due on Tuesday at 11:59 p.m. And the late submissions, you know, as always, for that partial credit are going to be due on Thursday. Now, remember for your assignments, the big thing about the assignments is that they're quizzes, right? Right, Chef?
Yep, they are quizzes. They'll be due the same time as your other classes. And then do please remember, you can retake them as many times as you would like. If you need to, you feel like you need to take it 25 times, whatever your highest score is, that will be your grade. So if you have a 70, if you have an 80, and then you get a 30, you'll have an 80. So whatever your highest grade is, that's what you'll get.
And that's why we really want to bring it up now. So like get started now, do the assignment now, because it'll only give you more practice. So be certain to get in there now, get the practice in, and take it as many times as you can, because if you wait to the last minute, you're not going to be able to take it as many times to get that 100. Let's get you to a 100%, right? Right? Who wants 100? Yeah, everybody wants 100, right? So let's get you to that 100. So do it early, start now, and you know, you can only improve, right? You can only go up. So, and just remember, it's great practice. Practice now while you're in school and not while you're running a business. Am I right? Yeah, yeah. So, and then here's that info for the live sessions. They're going to be every week, and Chef Gregory and Chef Jonathan. You guys remember Chef Jonathan? Yes. Yep. They're going to be hosting it on Tuesdays at 5 p.m. Central Standard Time. And I gave you guys the number again for Francie right there and her email address. And see how much fun you can have with math? Look at that. Axis of evil. Anybody? Nobody? I love math. Nobody likes math? Aww. So, what do you guys think is cost controls?
I think, I'm sorry. I think
You're fine, Erica.
I think it's a way of managing your, it's a way of managing the money that goes into running the restaurant, as far as the ingredients and maybe supplies and everything like that, like from down to straws. If you're selling drinks, you have to be able to monitor those things to make sure you're not just throwing them away.
Yeah, what else? What do you guys think? What do you think food cost is? Anybody?
Amount of cost per serving. Every nickel penny.
Yep, any nickel, any penny, all of that stuff is going to go in, right? Because the food cost, it is like literally what it costs to sell that dish, right? All the stuff that's in there. So if you're going to make a cake, what do you guys want on your cake?
Icing.
Icing?
Eggs, flour, butter.
Butter.
Sour cream.
Sour cream.
Vanilla.
Vanilla. What
Sugar.
else? Sugar. Erica, you have your hand up?
No, took it down. Sorry.
Oh, okay, no problem. What else? Eggs. What else is going to be in your
Milk.
in your cake? Milk.
Some kind of
Oil.
leavening powder.
Depends on what kind of cake you're
Leavening
making.
powder.
Yeah, you might have
Exactly. You gotta know your
water.
recipe, right? And that's important. You have to know your recipe. That is part of that food cost, is knowing your recipes, right? Making certain that you break it all down. Because what if you have, let's say, a turkey club? We're going to do a turkey club, right? What are we going to put on our turkey club?
Bread.
Bread.
Meat.
What's the recipe? Bread.
Meat.
What?
meat, lettuce, tomato, pickle,
bacon,
onions,
mustard,
mayonnaise, cheese.
Mayonnaise. Right. And then for a side, let's say we're going to do a side dish. What should we do? Should we do a salad? Let's do a salad side dish. Right? What should we put on our salad?
lettuce,
Potato salad.
Dressing.
Potato salad.
Tomato, lettuce,
You have to have some kind of dressing.
onions,
cheese,
bell pepper.
Bacon. Who said bacon? Me.
eggs.
Nice. So then we could always do, I heard potato salad. You can do fries. You could do coleslaw, right? You can do any type of side. What if I said now all of a sudden you're looking at that dish and the cost went up? How are you going to know what could be some of the issues because of the cost going up?
It could be the type of ingredients you're using. Maybe they're more expensive than the ones you were using before.
Yep, it could be the ingredients you're using, right?
Or it could be that the lettuce, like if you're making a salad and the lettuce or the tomato, they got a recall on it and it's only a certain amount of tomato and lettuce recalls.
Right, yeah, because we just had a massive lettuce recall for quite some time now, right?
Yeah.
So now everybody's scrambling to find other types of lettuce.
Yeah.
And things can be seasonal, right? Like if you want to put strawberries on that, strawberries are seasonal. Potatoes are seasonal. All of those things will affect your price. But if you're going to cost out your recipe, are you going to do the turkey club and your side? Are you going to cost it together or are you going to keep it separate?
I think I would put mine together.
I take mine
the whole dish.
Separate.
You what?
Separate.
Separate.
Together.
I heard together. How many people said there's half separate, half together, right? So, but what if I tell you then that's going to put a lot more work on you, right? Because now if you figured out that turkey club that usually cost you, say, $4 to make, now it's costing you $6 to make, that's a lot of things you have to go through to figure out where your cost went up. So usually when you look at cost control, you want to also look at figuring out the recipes for it, right? So how much does it cost to make that salad versus how much it's going to cost to make that sandwich? Erica, how can I help?
Question was, I understand what you're saying, but my whole thing is, okay, so if we're doing the club sandwich and the salad, right, even though the cost went up, do you break down everything that you bought, like from the bread down to the tomato, how much it was, how much it weighed to make the price, what you're going to charge it to?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. You break down, if you're going to season the sandwich with salt and pepper, you break down the salt, you break down the pepper, you break down, if you're going to butter the bread for the toast, you break down everything that would go into the dish, yes.
But how do you break down the butter and how do you break down the salt and pepper? How is that even possible?
So you pay for butter by the pound.
Okay.
So if you buy a case of butter, it's 36 pounds, 36 1-pound blocks in one case.
Mm-hmm.
If you had that butter and you broke that down and you cut it and you weighed it and it was a teaspoon,
mm-hmm.
and you knew each pound of butter cost $3, you could break it down to figure out how much a teaspoon of that butter costs per pound. And that is one thing we will cover today.
Oh,
Same thing with anything. If you have a tomato and it's a 25-pound case and each tomato weighs 8 ounces, a half a pound, and you got 20 slices out of it, you'd be able to cost out how much one slice of tomato costs.
Oh, wow. That's pretty awesome. You make a lot of money.
Yeah. So think of it, and also Erica, you grocery shop, right?
Correct.
You correct. How many people do you go shopping for?
3.
3 people, right? So every time you think of a meal, you know that you have to do 3 different portion sizes, right?
Correct.
So you're already doing that in real life. You're already breaking it down and figuring out how much you need already. Now we're just taking it to that next level. Now we're just following through because you already do it at home. So now you get to learn how to do it here.
But I don't like if I'm doing a meal and I'm doing chicken, potatoes, and greens. Do you mean I know if I bought a long pack of chicken, I know to do like 4 legs and 3 potatoes and half a bag of beans because I know that's what you mean by that? Breaking it down like that when you're at home?
Yeah. Well, when you have, you know how much food you need, right? So if you see a pack of chicken breasts and you know that you're doing it for 3 people, how many chicken breasts are you going to buy? Are you going to just buy 2? Are you going to buy 18? Are you going to buy 3? Right?
Right.
How much are you going to go for? And then you also know in your mind what your budget is, how much you want to spend on that, how much you're willing to pay for that product. Okay. Another great example is vanilla. How many people love vanilla? Got some vanilla lovers? Yeah. How many people know that there is a giant, there's a shortage in vanilla? So if you actually look for vanilla, it's really expensive right now, right? Yes, not the imitation.
I'm not sure, right? I say because right now I have used the imitation vanilla flavor, especially coming for the holidays when I make sweet potato pies.
Yeah, I'm talking about the real deal, not the imitation. The real deal.
I can't even find the vanilla.
Yeah, because it's hard to find because there's a shortage. But if you think of it, how much vanilla do you put in stuff? It's usually a teaspoon, a tablespoon. But that's a teaspoon and a tablespoon. That is expensive because there's a shortage. I saw one of them was going for $30 for a little 8-ounce thing of vanilla. Yes, Greg, $30. I see your face. So, so that's a little cost that you have to consider because you just think, oh yeah, I'll just add a little vanilla. But that little vanilla is going to add to your food cost. So those are things you have to think about. Erica.
What's imitation of vanilla and real vanilla?
Real vanilla is like a vanilla bean where you would have the pod and it would have all the little black seeds inside. Imitation vanilla is a synthetic blend that they make that does semi-taste like vanilla, and it's in a liquid form, and you would just put a drop into your recipe or your cake.
Oh, okay. So the one that costs $5 or $6 in a bottle is not the real thing?
Nope, it's synthetic.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Erica Spencer, you had a question?
Yes, I did. I had a question actually about the discussion board that we had to post to. Mm-hmm. And for the discussion, I used one of the recipes that I actually learned how to make through class in the CA 121, which was the sauteed chicken breast. But the thing is with that, I didn't put down the recipe because that one dish I actually just made with the technique, but I do remember everything that I put in it. So if I wanted to do that dish all over again, and then it would be kind of different because I used a whole chicken.
No, yeah, that's great. Did you take a picture of it? Because if you have a picture of it, you just put that bad boy in the discussion, you're good to go.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Alyssa, you have a question?
Yeah, do we include water when we're doing our food cost?
Okay, so we're going to talk about something further in this class. So when we're talking about food costs in a recipe, if you're boiling pasta, it would be a no. The reason being because you would get a water bill. So you would have food costs, you would have labor costs, people to make it yourself, line cooks, dishwashers to wash everything. And then you'd have something else called operating expenses or other expenses. In other expenses would be your water bill.
Okay.
So that would be attributed to water. Or, you know, like it costs gas to boil the pasta. That would be in your operating expenses. Unless you were doing something crazy or you needed like Fiji water to poach something, then you would do it to your food costs.
Okay, thank you.
Do you guys remember the 30-30-30-10 rule? What was that Chef Greg just went over? That's part of that, right? That 30-30-30. You want your food costs to be at 30, right? 30%. If I share my screen again. So we went back to the cake, right? This delightful cake. Remember, your food cost goal is 30%. Now, this is just a general guideline, right? Because sometimes food costs will fluctuate because it's going to fluctuate between if you're going to buy the burger buns versus making them yourself, those kind of things. But in general, you want the goal to be 30%. So then if you have your cake here and it costs you $15 to make, you're going to end up selling it for $50. How did I get that price?
15 times 3.
You said 15 times 3? No.
Hold on. No.
What do you guys think you need to do? When you tip, what do you guys usually do when you tip? When you tip somebody, you're trying to figure out the bill. You found out that you have a bill and you're going to tip. How much do you guys like to tip?
10%. You're supposed to do 10%.
Yeah.
10, 15, 20%, that kind of thing, if you're good. The 20, right?
Tip whenever you think the person
you
is
come up
worth.
with that number to figure out how much to leave for your tip. What do you do?
Depends on the service.
Places.
You do the bill, the food bill, and then what? What do you times it by?
The percentage that you want to pay.
The percentage you want to pay. Now think of it this way. You're going to do the exact opposite to figure out your food bill or how much you want to pay. So instead of timesing, you're going to divide, right? So you're going to take that $15 and divide it by that 30% to figure out how much you want to sell that item for. Because everybody really used to doing times. Yes, Chef Greg?
I was going to show them an example of why it's important to divide.
Oh, yeah, that'd be fantastic.
Okay.
Dividing is key here.
So we're going to talk about dividing a lot, and we'll go over some examples of like conversions and some of the quiz questions to help you guys like see what to expect on your quizzes. So if your cake cost you $15 and you just times it by 3, you would have $45. Okay? However, if the cake still costs you $15 and you divided it by your 30% food cost, it would be $50. So if you just times it by 3, you would lose $5 every single time you sold a cake.
That's a lot of money, right?
Can you do that again, please?
Of course I can. Okay? So the cake costs $15. Okay? Somebody said, like, just times it by 3. If we did that, which we wouldn't want to do, if we just times it by 3, we would have $45 is what we would sell the cake for. Now, if we had the same $15 it cost us, and we divided it by 30%, 0.30, we would have $50. So we would make $5 on the same cake by dividing the 30% instead of multiplying by 3.
Is that a whole cake or that's a half of a cake?
This is probably a half a cake or a sheet cake for $50. It's a pretty expensive cake.
Oh, okay. Now, how would we do it if it was just like a slice then?
So that would be what you wanted to charge. So we're going to get to that also in this class, but let's just say you wanted to charge, how much do you want to charge for the cake, piece of cake? Tell me. One slice.
$3.
$3? Okay, perfect. So $3 is what you want to charge, okay? But you have to really consider what your costs are. So if it costs you $1.25 to make it, and we divided it by our 0.30, it's $4 and it would be 17 cents because you would round the 6 up. So you'd be at 4.16. So you'd be losing money on every piece of cake if it cost you $1.25 to make.
How we would be losing if we're getting $3 of profit? So if it costs $1.25 to make it, and then we're going to divide it by 0.3, we getting $3 and some change from profiting it plus the $1.25.
Because you have it, if it costs you $1.25 to make, and you want to meet your 30% food cost goal, we divide it by the 0.30% our food cost goal, and we know we need to charge at least $4.17 to be at 30%. If we charge $4.25, it'll be less than 30%, which is a good thing.
Oh, okay.
All
So
right.
if we were charging $3.
I have a quick question, Chef, too, as well. Now, one of the classes that we were doing, they were telling us about the food costs like this, and we had to do a chart where they had the 30% and 20% and things like that. Now, they had one item on there that was probably like 40%. Is that still good because it's making more than what it's expected to make?
Yes. So when we're talking about food cost this class, we're going to talk about 30%. So that's really around like a good company average, a good average for like a restaurant or a business. So in the real world, however, if your budget is 30% and your food cost is 28%, it's a good thing.
Yeah, because remember, that's just an average. You want to have it be like if you're at 28, that's fine. Like you don't have to go for 30% every time. That's just like just the average that you typically will see.
We're gonna use 30% on this class. So Markella, I'm sorry if I pronounced that wrong. You have a question?
And you'll see we'll use 30%. I mean, you'll see it throughout all of the classes. We give you guys that 30, 30, 30, 10%.
Hello.
Markella, yep.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm lost. Like, I don't know, the 15 that you divided by 3, I'm really lost. Like, I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay, so how about this? So how about for everybody, I'm going to cover a helpful hint sheet. Okay, this helpful hint sheet, we're going to put it on the class page for you. And then we're also going to send it out a couple of times a week and per quiz. And then I'll also go over some of the quizzes, what exactly you're going to see on a quiz and exactly how to get it. Will that help everybody?
Yes. Oh
Okay.
my God, yes.
All right.
Okay, so is it going to tell us, like, what dividing? Because I know you said, like, if you multiplied it, that we would lose $5 each slice if we were to divide it. Mm-hmm. But, like, in the last session, the last couple of weeks, when we were figuring out the food costs, I thought that we were multiplying, like, how much we used by the amount that we had in all, and then came up with the price that way. So
was that in class 185?
The last class that I had with Miss Hobbs?
185.
Before we went to break?
Yep. So that's that class is just showing everybody like a little bit of everything all at one time to give you like a good understanding of like kind of what's to come in the courses and what to expect in life. This class here, we're going to learn like exactly how to make money. Like the exact mathematical equations and like why you're doing them.
Okay.
What is your question?
Me? What was my question?
That was the question, I believe.
Yeah. No, I mean, for tomorrow had her hand raised.
Oh, can you? Yes, ma'am. Can y'all hear me?
Yep.
Yes.
Hey, I just so I heard you say that 30% is usually like the average, food cost for restaurants. I just had a question kind of for myself. So, I sell food myself. I don't have, a restaurant yet. But so because I don't have a restaurant, what percentage would you suggest, or are you all going to go over that? Like what percentage would I kind of stick to?
So I'm not sure exactly like what is encompassing in your business. So if you were just selling this food yourself and you were all the labor, your labor costs would be very low because you're the only person.
Yeah. Okay.
So your food cost could technically be a little higher. We're going to use the 30, 30, 30, 10 for everybody. Okay. So that way, like, it'll make the most sense as like 30% food cost, 30% labor cost.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. Okay.
All
thank
right. So Paige, do you have a question? And I'll go over some things on how the quiz looks and stuff.
Not so much of a question, but I wasn't in the previous class of 185 or whatever.
Okay.
Does that matter? Like, do I need to take that class before this class?
Nope, not at all.
Don't worry about that at all. Don't worry. You'll be fine. And that's why we're going over all of this stuff, and we're making sure that you guys see where everything is located, especially on the webpage, so that it will help you be able to navigate everything. And then Chef Gregory, would you like me to pull up
No, I'll happily do it. I have everything set up. All right.
Okay,
awesome. Okay. So first thing we're going to do, so this is going to be sent out. You're going to get a sheet like this in your messaging, and we're also going to put this on the class page. So this is a helpful hint sheet, and each helpful hint sheet you get will relate to the quiz that you're on. So in this case, this will be week 1. And then also, this relates into some of your quiz questions down here. So I'll go over the top a little bit, and then these is exactly what your quiz questions will look like. Okay? All right. So the first thing to do, which will always help you, is find the question. So make sure to figure out what you're being asked for. So then second, only if needed, we're going to convert all units to be the same. So for the first one, it says, remember, when going from a larger unit, so a big one, to a smaller one, we'll multiply. So we're not talking about food costs now. We're talking about actual measurements now. So 1 pound does equal 16 ounces. On the class page where Chef Rachel showed, it said conversion sheet. It has all these conversions on there. And honestly, you could also use Google. You can type in how many ounces in a pound, and Google will say it right away. So if we want to go from pounds to ounces, so if we have 2 pounds, we have 2 pounds of ground beef, and we need to know how many ounces of ground beef we actually have. We times it by the 16 ounces we have in a pound. 2 times 16, and we have 18, and we have 32 ounces.
So do you guys understand your conversions for ounces to pounds? And do you guys know why it's so important to do using weighted instead of using like weighted versus volume, all that good stuff?
No.
So you have a cup of flour, right? You got a good old cup of flour, but some people's flour may be heaping, right? Their cup of flour may be a giant heap. Other ones might be straight across. But the key thing with that is going to weigh differently. That one that's heaping is going to weigh differently than that cup that's going straight across. And actually, you guys can do this at home. If you hit that cup of flour, just gently tap it, you're going to notice that cup, like the flour shrinking because there was a bunch of air in there. So that air is now escaping. So instead of it being that cup, it turns into 3/4 of a cup of flour. So that's why it's so important to know conversions and to look at weighing things instead of just using that good old cup. Right, Chef?
Yep. Okay. Erica, you have a question?
Yes, I see now. Earlier when you had asked a question about the cost of the food, figuring that out, yep. I got it confused with this because I worked on the homework assignment already.
Okay, good.
With one of the questions when it was asking about the how many teaspoons will you need in order to make like 90 something servings of something. Yep. And I know with that one, that's when you have to take that number and multiply it by the teaspoons in order to get the amount of servings you would need. So that's how I end up getting confused with the cost control because I was thinking about serving.
Okay. So the rest of, so I'm going to keep going. The rest of this, so that way we can try to get everything at least important in. Amy, do you have a question? And then I'll go on. I'll do the rest.
Yes, sir. Real quick.
Yep.
Okay, so this may be weird. Okay, so I was informed that when you go shopping to buy like a large container or package of like, let's say, ground beef, I buy my ground beef in bulk, and so I buy it like 10 pounds. I was informed that when you buy stuff like that from like the meat market or supermarket, they can be off by like, I think it's 5 or 3% of their actual poundage for when they're weighing it. So what would we do if we go and, let's say we bought, like we were in a restaurant and we bought, let's say, 50 pounds of ground beef, bulk size, but the producer or distributor is off because they can legally be off by, I think it's 3 or 5%. Then how does that factor in?
Okay, so there's a huge difference between you going to the grocery store and a restaurant. If you order Cisco and you order a 50-pound case of ground beef, you'll have a scale in your restaurant, your hotel, your business, and you take it right off and you put it on the scale. And if it is 45.5, you take it, you hand it back to the driver, you mark it on your sheet, and you say, bring me a new one.
Oh, I mean, because that was just something that I was, I knew about. And so, and I do this now because I'm just a mindset of it. I get my 10-pound beef and I weigh it before I put it in my bags to separate, freeze it.
Yep.
And sometimes
You're doing the same thing in a restaurant setting or in a business setting.
Okay, well, with me, I can't just take it back. So I just already, demolished, cut it up and everything. And so that's what I was questioning.
That is very true on that. It's just when you're in a restaurant and you're buying $100, $200, $1 million of food a year, you really have a lot of control of your situation. All right. So when going from a smaller unit to a larger one, so before we did big to small, now we're doing small to big. You're going to divide by your conversion factor. So we're still talking about weight. So 1 gallon does equal 4 quarts. So if we want to go from quarts to gallons, you would divide by 4. So we have a quart, 1 quart. We know that there's 4 to a gallon. And we get 0.25 of a gallon, 1/4 of a gallon.
You guys get that? Any questions? All right.
All right. So I just want to go over rounding really quick. I'm sure a lot of you have seen this probably your whole life, and then we'll try to cover some actual quiz questions.
Wait a minute, real quick. I'm sorry, real quick. You said now 4. You said 1 gallon is 4, and if we do 4 divided by 1 is
0.25. So there's 4 quarts. Yep, there's 4 quarts into 1 gallon.
Okay.
So if we divide that, so 1 quart into a gallon is 0.25. It's 1/4.
So we do 4 divided by 1 to give us 0.5. Correct? Am I understanding that right?
1 divided by 4 will give you 0.25.
Okay. 1 divided by 4. Okay. Thank you. I had it backwards.
Oh, of course.
Thank you.
Okay. So we're going to cover rounding. So we're going to cover rounding real quick, okay? So if you had a number and you did some math and it was 1.234, okay? That's what your answer came up to. Because 4 is less than 5, our answer would be 1.23. Now, if we had the same...
Can you do that again, please?
Yep. If we had 1.234, it's 4, the third number is less than 5. So our answer would be 1.23. Now, if we had 1.237, 7 is more than 5, the third number. So our answer would be 1.24. All right.
So, yeah, remember guys, because every time when it's 5, like if it's above, like 5 and above, you round up. Below, you round below. You want it to be 2 decimal places, because dollar signs, like when you're doing dollars, it doesn't go to 3 decimal places, it goes to 2, right? You can have $11.24, $1.25. You're going count those cents, right? So that's why rounding is important. Yeah.
But if you round it, you said it was 1.247. 7 is more than 5.
It is. Yep.
Rounding down or we rounding up?
So if we had 1.247, our answer would be 1.25 because the 7 was more than 5.
Right. Okay.
All right. Okay. So I want to show you guys a couple of quizzes and how to do them. I don't know if we'll necessarily be able to get through all of them, but we'll try to do like one example of each, okay? All right. So when you click on your assignment, you're going to have quizzes. So you're going to have a question, and then you're going to have where you type in the answer. Okay? So let's just start with the first one. We're going to start with apples, okay? So what is it asking us first?
This is where it's important, guys.
How much sugar do you need?
The ounces of sugar.
Yeah.
Yeah, and make sure when you're doing the assignments and the quizzes, read through the entire thing. Don't just stand at it. Read the whole thing, okay?
So it says you need to make 25 pickled apples. So 25. Each one takes 1.5 ounces of sugar. How many ounces of sugar do you need? So for that, we're going to take our total servings, 25 pickled apples. We're going to multiply it by 1.5, the 1 ounces it takes to make each one of them. So 25 times 1.5 is 37.5. So when it's asking, how many ounces of sugar do we need? We know we need to make 25 apples. We know it takes 1.5 ounces to make each one. We multiply the two. We have 37.5.
So you're saying we can use a calculator to do this math while we take the quiz, right?
I personally recommend just do a calculator on everything. That way, like, you're not doing it in your head and you can focus on the question.
Yeah. That's what the beauty of the cell phone's for, right? Personal calculator, right? So, Paul, what was your question real quick?
No, I wanted to make a comment that my 7th grade math teacher who taught me how to round up and down, he had a little jingle that helped everybody because everyone learns different. And his little jingle for rounding was 0 to 4, you leave it the same, 5 to 9, you change it. 0 to 4, you leave it the same, 5 to 9, you change it. And maybe that'll help somebody, you know, I don't know. It was a long time ago.
Yeah, that was great. Perfect.
All right, so let's do a converting one next, okay? We're going to do this one right here. We're going to do the egg white question. So all of these questions are directly from your quizzes. The only thing different is, of course, the numbers are different. But these are exact questions from your quizzes. So for this one, it says you have 2 pounds of egg whites. You need 4 ounces to make 1 serving of consommé. How many servings can you make? So 2 things stand out on this one. 1, they're asking how many servings we can make. And 2, we notice that this is pounds and this is ounces. So these are different. So the first thing we're going to do is, because we have pounds, we need to convert it to the smaller item for us, which is ounces. So we're going to do that first. So we have 2 pounds, which it tells us. And we divide and we times that, like we did on the other one, 16 ounces in a pound. So we have 2 pounds, and we know 16 ounces are in a pound. We have 32 ounces.
Right.
So we have 32 ounces of egg whites. Now, the second part of this, why we converted it to ounces, because we need 4 ounces to make 1 serving. So now that we know we have 32, we divide that by 4, because you need 4 ounces to make 1 serving, and 8. So how many servings can we make? We can make 8 servings.
Okay.
Okay?
Confused. Where did you get the 16? So if it's 2 pounds and 4 ounces, where is the 2 times 16 coming? Where's the 16 coming from?
Because there's
in a pound.
There's 16 ounces in a pound, exactly.
Okay. I'm still confused by that. I can't comprehend.
And you can Google it and find all those.
Well, just tell me why you're confused. I can explain it to you.
I think the comprehending of I must need to know what the pound is. So the pound is 16 ounces. All pounds.
Okay.
4 ounces.
We got a chart in our material that has the like the 1 ounce equals so much and 1 pound equals 16 ounces. We have a chart in our research material.
Yep. Okay. And on your conversion sheet right here, this is on your class page, if it'll open. This has conversions.
I printed that out.
Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah, perfect. So look, right here on the first one, since we're talking about pounds. 1 pound is 16 ounces.
Oh, okay. And I could have Googled that and said, what is 2 pounds?
You can. You can do...
Just even faster.
How many ounces in a pound?
Talk to your phone.
16. Talk to your phone. Perfect.
Right, but see, the question was, it was 2 pounds, right? So how do we do?
You can change it to 2 pounds as well.
Right, but I'm saying the question's asking the 2 pounds. How are we still doing 16? Don't we need to add 16 plus 16 because it's 2 pounds?
And that gives you 32?
You still get 32. So we have 2 pounds. We know that there's 2 pounds. That's what we actually have.
Okay.
And we know that there's 16 ounces in a pound. That gives us 32 ounces.
Okay.
So that's what we have. We physically have 32 ounces of egg whites.
Okay.
But for 1 serving, we only need 4 ounces of that 32. So how many servings can we make total? The same 32 that we have, divided by the 4 we need for 1 serving, and we have 8.
8.
Mm-hmm.
Erica, what's your question?
That was my question.
Okay.
Okay, perfect.
All right. I think Rachel and I have a couple more minutes before our next class, so let's do one more. Or let's do 1 or 2 more. Okay. So Erica Spencer was talking about the peppercorns. All right. She said she had looked ahead and saw the peppercorns. So this one says you have 110 teaspoons of peppercorns. Now we need 0.15 teaspoons to make 1 serving of beef brisket. So the first thing we're going to look at is what is it asking of us? It's asking us how many servings can we make. Now we're going to look. We have 100. So we look right here. We have teaspoons and we have teaspoons. We don't need to convert anything.
Don't need to convert nothing.
Exactly. Right? So we take our calculator out. So we have, so tell me how many teaspoons we have, somebody.
Yeah,
110.
110.
Okay, awesome. We have 110, okay? It's asking us how many servings can we make. So we know we're going to use 0.15 of that. So we have 110 and we're taking out 0.15, 0.15 every time we make brisket. So 0.15 is not a lot. So we divide
Exactly.
0.15 of a teaspoon
Into the 110.
Yep. Okay. We have 733.333333. So what is our answer going to be?
733.
733.
Point what?
33.
Exactly. Why? Because our third number is a 3.
And you round down.
And you
Round down. Exactly. Yep. So our answer.
0.33 of a serving.
Really good question. that's for a later.
Why wouldn't the answer why wouldn't it just be 733?
In your case, on this exact one, if you put 733, it won't recognize it in the quiz.
Oh, okay.
How would you make 0.33 of a serving? You wouldn't. You would make 733, and you'd be using this peppercorns for something else in your establishment if you were in real life.
Oh.
But for as far as your quiz goes, you would type in 733.33, and that'll register into your quiz.
Okay.
Erica, you had your hand raised?
I'm looking.
Yeah, I'm just so confused. Oh my God, it's just making my hair hurt. Math is not one of my good subjects. Okay, so how did you know to divide that 110 divided by 5? Why not times it? I mean, how did you know how to do dividing?
That's a really good question, because let's just take the math out of it for a second. So you have 110. This is just 10, but you have 110. Okay?
Okay.
So we're making servings of beef brisket every day, every week, every other week. So we're that 110, we're taking little bits out of it.
Okay.
We're making the 110 teaspoons that we have on hand, we're making it smaller every time we make brisket.
Oh. Okay.
So we're dividing whatever we're taking out to make a brisket, we're going to divide that out of our total.
Okay.
We're making it smaller.
Okay. Okay.
That's why, guys, we're going to have the bonus sessions, right, on Tuesday.
We'll be right there in it.
We have
Well,
all
I'm glad I know we can use our calculators, because last time I did my math by hand.
No,
please. God,
please don't.
Do not do that. So
I know, and that's how I ended. I got one wrong, but it's okay.
And remember, that's why do the assignments now. Do them as many times. Get the practice in now while you still can. So that way you can get to that 100. Okay. And remember, you have that whole table, like that conversion table. All of those things are on your page. So be certain to look, because you have all of those things right there at your fingertips.
And Chef Rachel is going to put this sheet, the helpful hint sheet, up onto your class page. So you have it. And then tomorrow, when we send out a happy, everybody have a great weekend, Chef Rachel and I, this will be attached also.
Thank God.
Good.
Okay? So going forward, though, so like obviously next week we'll cover week 2. You're going to get one of these for week 2. Week 3, week 4, week 5, week 6. You'll get one of these for every week.
Good.
Okay?
Yeah. And so remember, we have all of these tools, and you can use a calculator.
Please do, yes.
Yeah. And take it as many times as you can. It is due on Tuesday, but Chef Gregory and I will say start now. Do it now. That way it's all about practice. So get the practice in now while you can. While this isn't your business, this is your schooling. This is where you can make the mistakes and learn from them without it costing anything, right? So practice now, and then we will see everybody next week. Don't forget, discussions will be due on Saturday. Just like a picture of your recipe, a picture of the food that you made, throw that in the discussion. Your 2 peer responses are due on Tuesday. This assignment is due on Tuesday, but I highly suggest you start it now. Do it now. Do your knowledge checks, do your lessons, look at all of those things. If you guys have any questions, please let us know. And we will see everybody next week. All right?
All right.
All
Good
right.
night, chefs.
All right.
Thank you, everybody.
Have a good weekend.